just when you think that the left in the United States couldn't stoop any lower, they just reach an all-time low. I mean, these people are worse than scum, which you could find under some barrel which has been fossilized for over 10,000 years. These people's character stinks so bad it would overwhelm the stench of a graveyard, which has been undug in 107 degrees Celsius heat during a garbage strike. It is just outrageous. Now, what am I referring to? I'm referring to this stimulus package, which Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Alexia Ocasio-Cortez and Maxine Waters and all these people are trying to put out there. They want to give $600 to individual Americans and thousands of dollars to overseas countries. They're using this so-called pandemic. They're using this so-called pandemic to give thousands, maybe even millions, millions of dollars to Pakistan to teach them about gender studies. And Nepal and all these other countries, many of them would blow up the United States in 2 seconds. I mean, you just got some Mustafa over there who's just right now planning which plane he wants to hijack and what building he wants to destroy with that plane. You got Mohammed Al, whatever his name is, he's literally finishing up the final touches to rent a truck and run it over people in Times Square during New Year's Eve, and the country is probably most likely harboring him, and we are giving aid. I mean, the United States is giving aid to these countries, and the American people only get $600. $600. Now, Donald Trump came out and said the American people deserve more, and we shouldn't give anything to these other countries. We shouldn't be giving. What is this? How are you? We've got Americans here who are losing their businesses, forced at gunpoint to lose their businesses. You got a lady down there in Texas who was arrested because she dared to reopen her business when the governor, Abbott, said all businesses have to be shut, small businesses, mind you, have to be shut down. You got barber shops and toy stores and small restaurants being just abused by these blue state liberal Democrats, and their federal counterparts in Capitol Hill think that 600 bloody doggone US dollars is sufficient enough, but it is totally acceptable to give millions of dollars to Pakistan to teach them about gender studies. What in the hell? I mean, first of all, Pakistan, those type of things don't interest Pakistan. This isn't the West. These aren't white people we're talking about. This is Pakistan. They're not there teaching about no gender studies. Listen, one thing you can say about the Middle East and the third world country, they don't believe in this mumbo jumbo about two genders. You come up to somebody in Pakistan and talk about there's more than two genders, you'll be stoned. I'm sure in some countries it's probably illegal to talk about things like that. And America's trying to push this Western, weird, freaky stuff on the third world using Americans' taxpayer money, and Americans are just left with $600 every month or every 2 weeks. I don't know how it works in the United States. I'm in Canada, but this is type of something that you would expect in Canada, not in America. I mean, this is something I would expect that you Canucks to be accepting of. I mean, come on, don't hate me for saying that. I'm a Canadian, okay? Most of my audience is Canadian. This is something I would expect Justin Atakia and Mac Daddy to do. Justin True. I don't expect this to happen in America. I mean, I don't expect something like this from the United States. I expect this from Canada. I expect this from Canadians. Y'all are dumb as... I'm sorry, listen, look, I say this, I'll say this before, I'll say it again. You can't accuse me of being sellout or anything. I don't have to live in Canada. I'm dual citizen. I choose to live in Canada. I choose to work in Canada. I choose to pay taxes in Canada. I honestly, I barely even go to American. So I make a special effort to go across the border and buy Canadian. So you can't accuse me. But Canadians are doggone stupid when it comes to making decisions politically. You can't do it. You're incapable. Maybe you can do it one time, but not now. Now, this is something I would expect from Canucks, but not from Americans. Not from Americans. I don't know if maybe America and Canada had sex last night and America caught some sexually transmitted disease from Canada or something, which is making them act stupid. But anyway, Donald Trump is threatening to veto this. Donald Trump is threatening to veto it, rightfully so. I hope he does. I think that the American people deserve a lot more. He wants Americans to get 2,000. And even that is really not enough. I mean, if the government is telling you you're not allowed to work, I think we should milk the government for everything they have. Milk them, and that goes for Canadians too. Listen, if you're not collecting CERB or EI, and you better be collecting it. I'm prepared to milk this country for everything it has. It's reparations. Talk about reparations. You got these Black Lives Matter people talk about reparations for something that happened years and years, hundreds of years ago, which, by the way, they got reparations. They did. But anyway, this is reparations. Look at all the businesses that are being forced to shut down at gunpoint. Of course I'm going to take that money. I don't care if I'm working or not. You take it. It belongs to you. And I think the American people deserve more. I say thank God for Donald Trump. I hope he does veto this. One of the last honorable things he can do before he steps out of that White House. Don't let Joe Biden decide whether this bill passes or not, because, you know, one thing, Joe Biden would do something like that. He's got the same disease that you see in politicians in this country. He's got that same disease. It's a disease. The same thing that you see with politicians left and right in Canada. Joe Biden has it. And even if he doesn't have it, Kamala ain't Black Harris definitely has it. So don't let those two decide whether or not Americans are just going to be stuck for the next 6 months or maybe even more with 600 measly little dollars. And Pakistan and Nepal and India and African countries and all these things. How could you use this pandemic to give billions of taxpayer dollars to overseas nations? How could you do something like that? I mean, I don't care if it's Nancy Pelosi. I don't care that. How could you do something like that? Anyway, that's what's happening. I know the media is trying to say that Donald Trump is trying to prevent a stimulus package from coming through. Well, that's why you've got Arana Nation here. That's why I exist. To give you real truth and information. To preach to you righteousness, truth, and if needs be, to rebuke you when you're straying down the wrong path. But don't listen to the mainstream media. They're going to tell you that Trump is trying to delay a stimulus package. If Trump doesn't do what he's doing, Americans are going to be forced to live off of $600 a month or two weeks to a month, whatever it is, and millions of taxpayer dollars is going overseas. And that's not acceptable. So Trump is trying to fight to get more money for Americans. And I would say don't give any to all these other nations. First of all, they don't like us. And second of all, look, the West is dying. The West is dying. This, depending on how we the people react, this could be the end of America the end of the West. China is going to take over. Whether it depends on how we react. If we don't stop these people, China is going to be the most powerful nation on the planet. And if China becomes the most powerful nation on the planet, y'all can just forget it. You could just forget it. So let's work together. I praise Trump for fighting against this wicked, evil thing that the Democrats in the Congress are trying to do. And let's pray. Let's pray that it goes through. Father, I just want to say to you that we are here. We are here humbly asking you to stick with and give President Donald Trump, the strength and the courage to fight this wickedness that the U.S. Congress is trying to pull. This wickedness. Imagine these leftists are using a pandemic which kills less than 1% of people who get it to shut down the economy, mostly small businesses. People can't feed their families. People can't work. People can't make ends meet. And what their remedy is to give your sons and daughters $600 and give the other nations, which have ruined their economies, frankly, with bad political decisions, and really they ought to fix themselves. I mean, really, most of these third world countries have way more resources than America could ever think of. Look at the Congo. A Democrat has every resource on the element chart. They squandered their countries with bad, evil, satanic decisions. Look at Zimbabwe. It used to be the breadbasket of Africa. Now it's a dump. That's evil decisions that they make. And they keep making those decisions, but then want to take aid from the U.S. And we're supposed to live off of $600. It's not right. God, your people are hurting. Look out for us. Look out. You see the evil. If it's your will be done, then your will be done. If it's your will that this happens, we humbly accept it. We are your servants, and you are always right. But you know what's good. And God, all I ask is that you stick up for good. This is the Arana Nation.